Okay. All right. I first want to give a shout out to the dance team, the young ladies that before the game. I think they do an outstanding job. It's fun to watch them. I'm a grandpa of 10 kids, so when I see young kids like that having a good time, I really enjoy it. I think it was great. That was good. Nice to see it. Our fans, compliment our fans. I thought they did an outstanding job. I think we had 10 or 11,000 out there, which was great. They're awfully noisy, and it was nice to give them reason to get noisy, but they did a great job for us. Want to compliment the DC coaching staff in preparation for the football game. They're a very well-coached football team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. I think Shannon has done a great job, with that unit. They'll continue to play well, I'm certain. They a little bump in the road for them. We all face those from time to time, but they're a good football team. And by the way, I think we're only tied as what we are at this point. So still a lot of games to go, and heck, you never know. Maybe we could see each other again. But anyhow, I do want to compliment them because even all year I've watched them. They were 4-1 going into the game. Obviously, the number one team in the UFL. But watching them, I've been impressed with not only the way they're playing because they play with a lot of passion, but they're also very well. I love the coaches have everybody as much passion. That's what I kind of like. It's fun for me to watch that. So I want to compliment them on that. They're a very potent offense, as you all well know. Got to give a little to our defense. I thought they did a good job in holding them to 14 points. But because they're very good, Jordan's an outstanding quarterback. I'd say his last name, but I'd butcher it. But I'll try. Ta'amu. But anyway, I think he's an excellent quarterback. Great for the league. Does an outstanding job, and I know some of our guys on our team even know him personally, and they think very highly of him, but he's very good quarterback. And on our team, I already mentioned about the defense playing well. I think the offense did an exceptional job. That's 2 weeks in a row where they've gotten over 400 yards of offense, which is very good. Obviously, Bryce Perkins played an outstanding football game. All the stats don't even need to be mentioned. You guys can look them up. But as you well know, he played lights out. I thought he made a tremendous amount of plays, just sheer athletic ability and things like that, things that you don't really draw up on the play, So did a great job of that. Tao did an outstanding job at running back. I think he got 99 yards. He's one short of 100, but he did a great job. He runs extremely hard, got a tremendous heart for the game, and a lot of those yards came on just sheer effort on his part. Defensively, Kedrick Whitehead made some plays. I saw him out there do some really good things. Outside of that, I thought the defense just played really hard. That's a heck of an offense now, and that quarterback's very good. They got over 300 yards, which is a good day for any offense. But look, we'll take it because they're good, and obviously whatever it takes to get a win, we got. And that's all I got. Questions?
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Start up front here.
Hey, Coach. Mike Palco from the Bottom Line Podcast. First of all, congratulations on a win on Star Wars Day, celebrating with the fans here. But question for you. So you guys seem to be peaking at the right time in football season. So coming up in the last 4 games, which maybe you would consider the December months, comparing to the NFL to now. What are you guys doing to find another level to make a run towards the UFL championship?
Last week our offense, I think, was on that, like you said. And so, yes, 2 weeks in a row, the offense is doing a really good job. And it is that time that you want to do that, just like the NFL, like you mentioned. It's like any race. If you finish the race strong, everybody remembers it. If you just started strong, everybody kind of says, well, they fizzled out. A little bit like the Kentucky Derby yesterday. I think that I didn't watch it, but I heard the same thing kind of happened. You can lead all along, but if you don't lead at the very end and cross the line first, it doesn't matter. So very pleased with the offense, to answer your question. Defensively last week we didn't do as good. I take that back. We gave up some explosives that cost us the game, but outside of that, they did a good job. Today, we gave up another explosive pass, a really big play, and they got a touchdown out of it. But other than that, our defense held in there pretty good. We had a lot of bumps and bruises in this football game. They're a physical team that we played, but even going into the game, we lost Bryce Tornadin in warm-ups. His knee went south, so we didn't have him. And then LT, our corner, number 1, he got banged up, and so we lost him. And so we were down 2 of our 9 DBs down to 7. And in our league, 7 and 8 DBs, you play a lot. I mean, they play DBs a little bit like wide receiver on offense, but So we were on the edge there a couple times as far as personnel. But again, finishing strong, to answer your question, is a real key. And hopefully, again, we're just past the middle mark, as you know. We had 4 more games. We have to continue to climb and get better.
Hey, Coach. Mike Mueller, BCP Plus.
Yeah,
You guys
Mike.
have been phenomenal in extra point attempts this year. You're 15 for 21, and you've also held your opponents to 3 for 12 on the year. I'm just wondering, how significant are those extra points, not just as far as for your score for the game, but also for momentum on the next drive and throughout the course?
That's a good point. I never really thought about the momentum part next drive. I certainly have thought about, you love to come off, you get a touchdown, you got to win. And then you get the extra point. If you don't get the extra point, it's kind of like, it's like, come on. It's pretty simple for us. I just want to win by 1 point. So if we score first, typically we're going to go for 1. Put the onus on them. If they want to go for 2, go for 2. Your percentages from the 2 are much higher than they are from the 5. So if you broke that down a little bit more, you'd see that we're much more of a go for 1 kind of a team. But if the score dictates, we're going for 2, and if it dictates and we got to go for 3, we're going for 3. We didn't have when we were getting ready to have to do that against. If we had converted against in our second ball game on the 4th and 12 against Birmingham, we would have done that. They would have been a 3-point conversion, but otherwise it didn't happen because we were down by 9. I think we lost 12-21. Anyhow, it didn't happen, but I played that game in my mind at that. That's why I remember it. Outside of that, I think that's the thing to look at is how many of them are 1 point, how many are 2 point. It is tougher to get the 2. It's from the 5, and it's tough. I was impressed with our offense today. We got 2 from the 5 when they ran the ball. It's tough to run in from the 5-yard line, so they did a good job.
Go right there, and then Jennifer.
Coach, you mentioned the back-to-back 400 yards on offense games. This game in particular, though, over 7 yards per play on offense, and then you had 4 for 4 in the red zone. Started the game on 11-play, 95-yard for a touchdown. And then Bryce, in particular, throughout the game, an MVP-worthy sort of game. What is it about his competitive nature that really sort of elevates the rest of the team? Is there a level of his competitiveness that inspires other guys in the roster?
Yes, there is. Anytime you have a teammate like Bryce, and he pulled some out of the hat today on some of those plays, that was sheer just him doing it, and that'll motivate any teammate. When you've got somebody in your football team that does it, whether it's your quarterback or whether it's a running back. Tal today motivated a lot of players on our team as well, just seeing those guys run so hard and play with so much heart. Those 2 in particular, without question, motivated the whole football team. But, Bryce had an exceptional day. He had an exceptional day, and Tal would be a close second. But like I said, and not only players but coaches, that gets me excited too. It's like, well, you call a play, and by the way, I need to compliment Marcel and our offensive staff has done a great job for 2 weeks as well. They have everything to do with the fact that we're playing good on offense. So that's important to recognize. And the defensive guys have done a good job, and they'll keep getting better. We have a very good defensive staff. They do well, but the offense deserves extra credit. They've really been good. So, but again, to answer your question about getting energized by teammates, without question. Yeah.
And just one more for me. This was the first time we got to see Cam Carter in the roster. What was your assessment on his performance today?
I didn't watch him, but I'm actually kind of wondering how many snaps he got, because usually the guys go in, they get about a dozen snaps. So I'll be eager to find out. I really am. He's done a great job in practice. It's been a couple weeks now where we continue to kind of say, do we want to put him up, bring him up, and we've waited, and then he got up today. So I'm anxious to see how it was too. But I think he's been a good addition. He fits in well with the group, and our offensive line has done a nice job so far. And again, when you get 400 yards of offense, your line's got to get some credit. We had 200 and some yards rushing today, wasn't it? We don't get too many 200-yard games in our league in a shotgun passing offense league. 233. So anyway else?
Kind of following up on
Yes, ma'am.
on that with the 233 yards rushing and just the way that your offense produced season high in points. How impressed are you the way they answered the bell in a big game, a big-time game against the best team in the league coming in?
Yeah, great question because, going into the game, like I said, we kind of had a little bit of a letdown last week, so you really don't know what's going to show up this week for the football game. But, look, everybody feels very energized right now about what happened going into this stretch. Last week we had the Battlehawks, a very good football team. Today we played a very good team in D.C. Next week we have Arlington. As you all well know, there's kind of a bunch. I used the example to the team this morning. Even talking about it's like the race last night. You get all these horses all in one bunch, and then when it comes around that last turn, all of a sudden people start to separate. And right now we're all sitting in that bunch, and we're kind of the stretch coming down with 4 weeks to go. Everybody's going to try to see who's going to pull out ahead on this thing, but again, it's very energizing. You feel like you can, again, 38 points. We feel very good about that. Last week we gave up 32, though our team did. And so we know both sides of that coin.
We have time for a couple more questions.
Coach, obviously you talked last week about the defense giving up 32. When you play this team in D.C. that has a great offense, you're able to hold them to 14. You talked about a little bit earlier, but just kind of go more in depth about how impressed you were about this defensive performance today.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that I thought we did well, we gave up that one explosive at the end there, as you all know, that I don't know how far it was, about 70 or 80 yards, I don't even know, but I know it was very long to Roland, the slot receiver. That was the only explosive pass, I believe, that we gave up today. Last week we gave up 2, and they were a critical 12 points in that game because we lost by 5. And so the last week's performance, those were much more costly when we gave them up than this week, the one. But nonetheless, we got to nip that in the bud. Going forward, we got to reduce that, so. That's it.
Coach, just wanted to touch a little bit on Marcel Belfay and the job that he's done this year with the offense. It feels like every week it's been more consistent. And, I mean, today, 27 first downs. That's a season high for any team. 38 points, season high for any team. What is it about what he's been able to do with the game plan over the last couple of weeks that's really helped this team reach another level?
Well, he's done an outstanding job, yes. I think Marcel would say the same thing. We have some pretty good offensive weapons. I mean, our receiving core is very stout. They do a great job. We've got 3 tight ends now. In the past, maybe 1.5. Now it was 2 when Gunner showed up. Then Gunner kind of moved up, and then we got another young guy. So we've got some weapons. I think the safe thing to say, the honest thing to say, is that Marcel's calling some really good plays, and he's got some really good guys running those plays. But we all have to be honest with some of the things that Bryce did today. They're not on the call sheet. They're kind of just to be honest. We all have to do that. And he did, because Bryce did a great job. But Marcel has, without question, he's been outstanding. He's a very good coach. I'm glad we have him.
Toa, obviously a really big game for you on the ground, just continuing to produce week after week. I wanted to ask, because this was pretty unique. We saw during the broadcast you got to kind of have like a Zoom, FaceTime sort of thing with your family. What was that like in the middle of a game, after scoring?
Oh, man, it was a beautiful experience, man, especially seeing my boy up there. My whole family was supporting, but just seeing my little one up there, Masa, man, seeing him on TV and just seeing how happy he is, man, it's no better feeling.
Bryce, questions for you. I think it was on the last conversion you did like a little no-look pass into the end zone. Is that something that you practice, or is it just like this in-the-moment kind of thing, you go for it?
Yeah, I mean, when I watched it back, it probably wasn't necessary. I tried to you kind of always play with the no-look pass in practice, and I was with Matthew Stafford for a while, and his no-look was something serious. So, I always say that if I get a shot, I'm gonna try to do it in a game. But, just making plays out there, just having fun with it too. So, Malik did a great job catching it too. It was a little low heater. So, but yeah, I mean, just having fun out there.
Question for Bryce. Congratulations on the win today. team played great. Coach Nolan made a reference to the Kentucky Derby right now with the league in a bunch right now. Now we're just seeing who's going to take that, which team's going to make that run for a championship. And your experiences with the LA Rams, you winning a Super Bowl, what have you learned from watching, with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, and then things from that championship run to apply to this team as you guys are making your own run towards the UFL championship?
Yeah, I mean, you see teams become great and continue to execute and really peak in the later half of the season. And I think that, every week we get better and better on all cylinders. We play together, complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. And, we have fun out there, too. I think a big part of it is guys like being around, us. Like, guys like being around the guys on the team. And, that makes football more fun. It creates an atmosphere where guys can go out there and just play, and then execution, man, at a high level. I feel like, over these last couple weeks, every week we get better and better execution-wise. So that's what it takes later, down in the stretch especially. You need your best ball, as a lot of the teams are kind of right there in the pack. You need your best ball in the last half of the season.
This is a question actually for each of you, and maybe if Bryce, you can start us off. Just going into this game, what was I don't know if urgency is the right word, but what was the intention to not just beating DC, but really putting your best out there to show kind of the rest of the league what this team is about, and how impressed are you with the way that the guys continue to kind of keep their foot on the gas throughout? Yeah,
super impressed, and especially in this league, how the extra points are set up. We can get a 3-point conversion. You're never out of a game. One possession game typically can be, a 2-possession game typically can be a 1-possession game. So understanding that, and then also seeing, DC kind of came back last week against Arlington. They were up a little bit. The offensive power that they had, and our defense did a great job. And our offense did a great job of just never settling, never feeling like, we're up big, let's take our foot off the gas. Let's keep executing and let's keep dominating. And, it's good. It's good to put that on tape, and it's even better late in the quarter. Everybody's beat up. It was a physical game, but we did a great job of continuing to roll, and proud of those guys, and I can't wait to get back to work.
Yeah, picking off what Bryce said, man, we set the tone and we set the foundation during camp, and we just try to come out each day, no matter the opponent, and lay that brick down, and brick by brick we're gonna keep taking what's ours, and big up front to those guys up front, man. Big ups to those guys up front, man. They made it. A lot of my runs easy tonight. So, it's the way we prepare, it's the way we practice, and it really showed tonight.
This first one's for both guys. I don't know if you know this, but you guys as a team held DC to 9 minutes of possession in the second half. That doesn't happen without being able to run the ball from start to finish. Does knowing the importance of setting that tone in the trenches really fuel you guys as a team?
Yeah, trying to form an identity, and that's physical, and the way we came out tonight was something that we try to establish every game, and like I said, big ups to the guys up front, man. They knew what they was doing today, exactly where they're supposed to be, made our jobs easy.
Yeah, the run game is critical, man, and when you can run block like that, it makes everything else that much easier. And, converting on third downs, extending those plays, and staying on the field, it's a big, challenge for the defense, too. You talk about conditioning, the guys get tired, and when you just kind of keep trucking, 4 yards here, 3 yards here, 10 yards here, it's tough on those guys, too, trying to rally, on defense, they may get a stop, then you may get another first down. So continue to be able to do that, keeping that offense off the field, getting our defense a rest too, right? When we can do that as well, our defense comes out there energized, ready to roll. And they did a great job of flying around and, really making it count. And, when we can do that as an offense, it helps them too. So that's kind of what we talk about when we talk about complementary football too as well. And it's a big part of it.
And then I have a quick fun one for Bryce. We all know those, assemble your perfect quarterback memes. After days like today, I have to imagine a lot of guys would want to trade for your contact balance. What do you attribute that to in your preparation?
Just, try to stay strong, lower half too, right? My my family, my brother and my pop, both running backs too. So I kind of have my father's legs, but. But really, I mean, it's important kind of just trying to stay strong at the lower body because, when contact happens, you got to keep your feet moving and, kind of go about it like that. And then also when you escape, trying to keep eyes downfield. I think the guys did a great job of getting open and staying alive. So it was fun and, got to build on it, got to keep going. And, there's a lot of things that we can still do too as well. So never satisfied and we're going to keep rolling.
So, Coach spoke about how you were really rallying the guys today on the sidelines, and I heard you on the sidelines kind of saying, don't get comfortable now, let's not get complacent. How important is that messaging, especially when you're up a couple touchdowns against such a good team in D.C. where they can come back at any given point?
Yeah, like Bryce was saying earlier, you're never really out of the game, especially with the no extra points, just a 2-point, 3-point, it's crazy. So you gotta keep the foot on the pedal, no matter what the score is, no matter what quarter it is. You gotta just keep applying and just making sure everyone's body language is right and just not getting too comfortable in any situation in life. So it goes a long way. The guys hear it, some guys tune it out, but if I can help out, that's my job.
Thanks, guys. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
it.
God bless. God bless.